The night is dark and echoing of vampires.
Damon Salvatore is standing in the shadows with a wooden stake tucked behind his back. Lexi Branson is 20 feet away, still laughing at something Stefan said 5 minutes ago, still buzzing from Stefan's birthday party at the bar. In the show, this is where she dies. Sheriff Forbes's cruisers are already rolling up Main Street because Damon phoned in the tip an hour ago. His plan is simple, and it is tactical, and it is not personal. Drive a stake through the heart of Stefan's best friend. Plant her body where the council will find it. Sell them a clean story. The killer is caught. The town is safe. The Salvatore brothers are heroes. Damon doesn't hate Lexi. He called her one of the good ones 30 minutes before he lifted the stake. In the show, Stefan arrives 8 seconds too late. Lexi ends up dust on the pavement. Damon ends up, eventually, haunted for 2 seasons by the woman he killed to cover his tracks. But in this timeline, Stefan pieces Damon's plan together moments earlier. In this timeline, Stefan runs faster. And everything changes. Stefan catches Damon's wrist mid-strike. Lexi turns at the sound. She sees what she was never supposed to see. Her best friend's brother, the same man who poured her bourbon at the bar 2 hours ago, standing with a piece of white oak 6 inches from her ribs. Her face moves through 3 expressions in 1 second. Shock, betrayal, fury. She doesn't speak. She doesn't have to. Stefan does. Damon's arm is still locked in his brother's grip. He doesn't drop the stake. He tilts his head and gives Stefan the grin he's been giving him for 145 years. Brother, this is not your business. She is my business. She is a distraction. The council needs a body. I just found them, the best one in town. You'll thank me in a week. Stefan doesn't answer with words. He twists Damon's wrist until the white oak clatters onto the pavement. The sound echoes off the brick. And then, for the first time in 145 years, Stefan Salvatore hits his brother. In the show, the Salvatore brothers fight like 2 dogs that share a bed. A lot of noise, a lot of performance, never a real punch. Stefan is the gentle one. Damon is the dangerous one. That is the rule of their relationship, and it is the rule Damon has counted on for over a century. Damon does not have a rule for this. Stefan puts him through a dumpster. Damon rolls up off the pavement laughing, because laughter is what Damon does when he is scared. And then Stefan hits him again, and this time it is not a brother's punch. It is a vampire's punch. Damon's jaw breaks along the left side. Don't, Stefan says. Don't you dare. Brother, Damon says, and there is something new in his voice. Brother, slow down. He snaps Damon's neck. 3 seconds. Damon crumples into the alley like a dropped coat. The stake lies between them. The sirens are 2 blocks away. Lexi is still against the wall. She is looking at Stefan the way a person looks at a stranger they have known for 150 years. Because in this moment, that is what Stefan is. She has watched Stefan take apart bigger men, older men, entire rooms of men. She has never, not once, watched him put Damon down. She finds her voice. Stefan, sweetheart, look at me. He looks at her. His hands are shaking. We have 90 seconds, she says. Maybe less. What's the plan? He has a reflex. He has a reflex, and he uses it. Stefan bundles Lexi into the car before Sheriff Forbes's cruiser turns into the alley. He pulls off her leather jacket, the one she wore to the party, the one half of Mystic Falls has seen her in tonight, and swaps it onto the body of a tomb vampire Damon had already drained that afternoon for exactly this purpose. Stake through the jacket, a smudge of Lexi's blood on the collar, staged position. Lexi herself drops a compelled suggestion into Damon's still unconscious mind on the logistics, because that is the kind of thing Lexi can do when she's angry and in a hurry. When Sheriff Forbes arrives 4 minutes later, she finds exactly what Damon promised her: a dead vampire, a wooden stake, a sleeping Damon Salvatore who smells like bourbon and smoke, and a hard night's work. In the show, Damon's cover-up works because the body is Lexi's. In this timeline, it works because Lexi is the one who staged it. The frame-up lands, the council stands down. The town's belief that the killer is caught holds, at least for now. This is the first critical fact of our entire timeline, and you need to remember it because it becomes load-bearing all the way through Chapter 4. Lexi Branson is officially dead in Mystic Falls. Every scene she plays for the rest of Season 1, she plays as a ghost. Stefan drives her 20 miles out of town without speaking. He stops at the county line, pulls over to the shoulder, takes a breath. Get out. Excuse me? Get out of the car, Lexi. Take a flight, take a train, take anything. I need you off the map. Damon will wake up in an hour, and he will be twice as angry and twice as motivated. And I can't protect you from him and keep him from hurting Elena at the same time. You just snapped your brother's neck in a parking lot. I know what I did. You snapped your brother's neck, Stefan. I have known you since 1864. I have dragged you off piles of corpses in 4 countries. I have watched you take apart men who hurt women. I have never watched you put Damon on the ground. Now? Tonight? Stefan doesn't answer. Lexi turns in the passenger seat and looks at him straight on. There's a girl, she says. He doesn't answer. There's a girl, Stefan. I met her tonight at your birthday party. Her name is Elena, and you are going to tell me right now whether the Damon Salvatore who just tried to put a stake through my heart in a parking lot has any reason at all to want to hurt her. Lexi nods once. That's what I thought. Turn the car around. Lexi. Turn the car around, Stefan. I'm not running. I'm moving in. Damon wakes up 40 minutes later on the couch in the Salvatore boarding house library. His neck hurts. His jaw hurts. He can smell his own blood in his teeth. He opens his eyes. Lexi Branson is sitting across from him in his favorite chair. She has poured herself a glass of his oldest bourbon. She is wearing his bathrobe. Morning sunshine, she says. We need to talk about your life choices. Damon stares at her. You're dead, he says carefully, the way a man confirms a fact. I'm in your bathrobe, and your bourbon is very good. And the sheriff thinks I'm dead, so let's keep it that way. Sit up. I'll get you a towel. Stefan steps out from the doorway. His arms are crossed. She stays, Stefan says. She stays, Damon. And if you try again, if you twitch at her again, I will put you back down. I won't snap your neck next time. I'll burn you down to ankles and leave you in the sun. Are we clear? I've been told there's a girl. Damon closes his eyes and laughs, once with no humor in it. Yeah, he says, there's a girl. The next morning, Damon comes downstairs at 7. Lexi is in the kitchen. She is making coffee in his French press. She has opened one of his windows, and the spring air is moving through the boarding house for the first time in the 18 years Damon has owned it. I don't drink coffee, Damon says. You do now. I'm not in a house where no one drinks coffee. Stefan doesn't drink coffee either. Stefan will drink what I put in front of him. He always has. He is testing, already, whether there is a version of this arrangement where he regains footing. How long are you staying? Until the town is safe. Define safe. Lexi pours 2 cups. She pushes one across the counter to him. No dead cheerleaders, no broken Salvatores, no vampires I don't know about. When the board is clean, I leave. And Damon, I know what you're doing. You're trying to find the angle. You're trying to find the sentence that gets me to leave on your terms instead of mine. There isn't one. Stop looking for it. He drinks the coffee. He has to admit grudgingly that it is good. House rule, she says. I don't leave the East Wing during daylight. You don't come into the East Wing ever. Stefan mediates. If you want to kill me, and I'm not saying you don't because you have the kind of face that says it, you do it loud, and you do it in front of Stefan, and you live with what comes after. No more alleys, no more stakes behind backs, are we agreed? Damon is quiet for a long moment. Agreed. Good. Pour your brother some coffee. And that is the foundation of their entire cohabitation. Not trust, not friendship. A set of operational terms negotiated across a kitchen counter at 7 in the morning, with 2 cups of coffee and no witnesses. And that is where Chapter 1 ends. Not with a death, not with a stake. Not with Stefan kneeling in an alley over the corpse of the person who knew him best. With Lexi Branson in Damon Salvatore's bathrobe, holding a glass of his bourbon, listening to the boarding house clock tick past 2 in the morning, and upstairs, asleep in a bedroom she has never been in a town she has never seen, Elena Gilbert has no idea that her life just changed. She has no idea that she met a woman tonight who gave her one speech about epic love and then chose to stay in Mystic Falls for her. She has no idea that she now has a guardian angel, a 350-year-old guardian angel, who just moved into the East Wing of the Salvatore boarding house and who is about to start teaching Elena Gilbert how to survive in a town full of monsters. Chapter 2 is the chapter where that training starts. And the first lesson Lexi teaches Elena isn't how to stake a vampire. It is how to lie to one. Mystic Falls in early spring of 2009 is a town that thinks it just won. The sheriff has a body, the council has a story, The Salvatore brothers are unimplicated. Carol Lockwood is planning the Founders' Day parade. Logan Fell is circling the Gilbert house with a questions list. Jenna Summers is trying to figure out whether her niece is dating a serial killer or just a very private person. Life goes on. And Lexi Branson, officially deceased, buried in a closed casket at a funeral the town will never know she wasn't in, spends the next 3 weeks hiding in the east wing of the Salvatore boarding house. She cannot be seen. That is the entire logistical constraint of this chapter, and every move she makes is built around it. The council thinks she is dead. Damon's frame-up depends on that belief. If a single human in Mystic Falls spots Lexi Branson walking past the grill at noon, the case reopens, the bodies get re-examined, and the Salvatore brothers end up on a pyre. Lexi knows this, Stefan knows this, Damon knows it most of all, because it is his neck the sheriff will come for first. So Lexi becomes a ghost. She takes the east wing. She uses the servant's staircase. She eats blood bags Damon has pulled from the hospital supply. She wears Stefan's old clothes because hers were all in a duffel bag Damon already burned. When Jenna comes by the boarding house to collect Elena on a Sunday afternoon, Lexi is sitting inside a wall because the Salvatore boarding house is old and has rooms behind rooms. And Lexi Branson knows every one of them from a decade she spent in this building in the 1920s that Stefan has never wanted to talk about. But the point of Chapter 2 is not the hiding. The point of Chapter 2 is Elena. Lexi corners Elena 3 days after the alley. Mystic Grill bathroom. Thursday afternoon, Elena is washing her hands at the sink. The door clicks behind her. She looks up into the mirror. Lexi is standing in the reflection. Elena turns around and puts her back against the sink. You're dead. Yeah, that's the rumor. Keep it that way. Elena doesn't speak. Lock the door, Elena. Okay, Lexi says. Okay, here is what's happening. You're going to sit down on that floor and you're going to listen to me for 9 minutes. And then you are going to walk back out there and finish your milkshake with Caroline. And for the rest of your life, you are not going to tell anyone we had this conversation. Not Stefan, not Bonnie, not Jeremy. Not Damon, especially not Damon. Do you understand me? Why are you? Yes or no, Elena? Yes. Good. Sit down. Elena sits, and Lexi starts teaching. In the show, Elena Gilbert learns how to survive vampires the hard way. She learns by being kidnapped. She learns by watching people die. She learns by trial and error and loss. Alaric Saltzman becomes her combat mentor in late season 2. Introducing her to vervain darts, stake training, and the Gilbert ring that protects humans from death at supernatural hands. Before Alaric, for most of Season 1 and the start of Season 2, Elena has nothing. A vervain necklace, a brother who drinks, a boyfriend who will die for her. No training, no technique, no ability to lie to a vampire and survive. In this timeline, her mentor arrives 6 months early, and the mentor is a 350-year-old vampire who has been lying to other vampires since before the French Revolution. Lesson 1 is blood. The vervain in your necklace is a toy, Lexi says. A vampire pulls it off your throat. You have maybe 9 seconds before you are compelled. 9 seconds is not enough, so we're going to upgrade you. She hands Elena a small glass vial. Clear liquid, no label. Vervain tincture, 4 drops in your coffee every morning. Your blood becomes poison to us. If a vampire drinks from you, they spend the next 6 hours on the bathroom floor. If a vampire tries to compel you, nothing takes. Not a word, not a suggestion, not a look. Caroline drinks my coffee. Then Caroline builds up a human-adjacent tolerance, which will not hurt her when her time comes. Trust me, she will, in 6 weeks. Lexi is already planning for it. Lesson 2 is reading compulsion. If someone you love is being compelled, you will notice 3 things. They repeat themselves, they'll say a sentence, and then 10 minutes later they'll say the exact same sentence with the exact same intonation, because a compelled brain plays on a loop. Their eyes will look wet, not tearful, wet, like they're remembering something they can't quite pull up, and they will be strangely obedient. Your Aunt Jenna has never once agreed to go to bed before 10. If she does, something is wrong. Elena is writing in her journal. Lexi stops her. No notes. You keep this in your head. A journal is the first thing a vampire reads when they come to kill you. Lesson 3 is the hardest. It is how to lie. Stefan can hear your heartbeat. So can Damon, so can anyone who has fed in the last 24 hours. When you lie, your heart rate climbs. They know. Alaric doesn't teach this because Alaric doesn't need to. You do. How do I? You regulate. You breathe like you're about to fall asleep. You think about something boring, not calming. Boring. Taxes. Algebra. Grocery lists. Boredom is the only emotion that doesn't register in a vampire's ear. If you think about how scared you are, your heart gives you up. If you think about fractions, nobody in the world can catch you. She smiles at Elena for the first time. Practice with Stefan. Tonight. Lie to him about where you spent the afternoon. When he clocks it, don't admit. Come back tomorrow and tell me what you felt when he saw through you. Elena practices with Stefan that night. Stefan catches her in 90 seconds. Good, Lexi says, the next morning in the grill bathroom. Now you know what you sound like when you lie. Fix it. And then Lexi leans forward on the floor and puts her hand flat on the tile between them. One more thing, Elena. The most important one. Stefan will die for you. Damon will kill for you. Neither of those is protection. This, she taps Elena's temple, is protection. Everything I'm teaching you is protection. Stop waiting for one of them to save you. Start learning how to save them. Elena doesn't answer. She nods once. Lexi nods back. Lesson over. 3 days later, Elena uses it. Damon finds her on the Salvatore porch at dusk. He is in the mood he gets into, the mood where he will say something cruel for sport, because he is bored, and Lexi is not in the room to make him behave. So, he says, where were you this afternoon, sweetheart? Stefan says you skipped fourth period. In the old Elena, in the show, the answer would have been the truth, because Elena Gilbert is a bad liar, and Damon knows it, and in 5 seconds he would have her location, her errand, and a new leverage point to use against Stefan at dinner. In this Elena, something different happens. Elena looks at her feet. She counts backwards from 10 in her head. She thinks about fractions. 1/2, 2/4, 3/6. Her heart rate goes flat. I was at the library, she says, studying for the biology quiz. Damon tilts his head. He listens. He hears a heartbeat that is not rising. He doesn't believe her for a second, but he can't prove it. He smiles slowly. Biology, huh? Elena stays on the porch for another 10 minutes. Her hands are shaking, but her face is not. She has just lied to a vampire. She got away with it. It is the first time in her life that she has felt, in any real sense, like a participant in the war that is happening around her, and not just the prize. Upstairs, behind a second-story curtain, Lexi Branson is watching the whole thing. She nods once. To nobody, that is the kind of afternoon that makes 350 years feel worth it. The Damon problem runs parallel to the Elena problem through all of Chapter 2. Damon spends his first week after the alley testing the boundaries. Not because he wants to kill Lexi. The next snap recalibrated that impulse permanently, but because he is Damon Salvatore, and he cannot stand the presence of a person in his house who is not afraid of him. He replaces her blood bags with expired bags. She switches them back without comment. He sets her bathwater to freezing. She heats it with a hand. He leaves the front door unlocked at 3 in the morning when the sheriff's patrol passes. She relocks it and leaves him a note that says, "Nice try." On the 5th day, Damon pours himself a bourbon, turns around in his own library, and discovers Lexi Branson in the bathtub. His bathtub. The one in the master bathroom. She has candles lit. She is reading a Jodi Picoult novel. Get out of my bathtub. Get out of my bathroom. This is my bathroom. I am Lexi. Damon. He stares at her. He tries to find a response that Stefan won't hear through the floorboards and punish him for later. He doesn't find one. He pours his bourbon into the bathwater and walks out. Childish, she calls after him. Accurate, he calls back. This is their relationship now. Not friendship, not alliance, not even truce. It is a running sarcasm duel with a 350-year-old woman winning every round. And Damon Salvatore, for the first time in a very long time, losing. In the show, Damon's redemption arc is driven by 2 anchors, Elena's forgiveness and Alaric's reluctant friendship. In this timeline, Lexi provides a 3rd anchor Damon has never faced, a mirror that doesn't flinch. Elena forgives him because she is kind. Alaric tolerates him because they both drink. Lexi does not forgive him and she does not tolerate him. She simply exists, in his house, in his bathtub, drinking his bourbon, eating his blood bags, rolling her eyes at every performance of evil he offers her. And Damon Salvatore's performance of evil long-term only works for an audience that reacts. Lexi doesn't react. Something in him very slowly starts to retune itself around that fact. By the end of Chapter 2, 3 pieces are on the board. Elena Gilbert can lie to a vampire without her heart giving her up. It took 6 weeks in this timeline. It took 18 months in the show. Caroline Forbes is sitting at a Lockwood garden party, laughing at nothing, while a 350-year-old vampire watches her from across the lawn. Lexi hasn't met Caroline yet. She is watching because Caroline is Elena's friend, because Caroline is sleeping with Damon Salvatore, and because Lexi Branson survives by assessing every variable on every board. Caroline is a variable. Lexi is logging her. And down at the Mystic Grill, at table 7, Anna Pearl's daughter is watching Elena Gilbert with her hands around a Coke glass. Something is off about Elena. Anna doesn't know what, but her mother is going to be out of a 145-year-old tomb in 3 weeks, and Anna's job is to make sure the ground is soft when Pearl lands. Elena Gilbert just got protective coloration, and Anna wants to know why. In the show, the opening of the tomb under Fell's Church is a 6-episode marathon of Bonnie family reluctance, grimoire retrieval, moonstone politics, and Damon emotionally unraveling across 3 different living rooms. It spans roughly episode 11 through episode 16 of season 1. It is the spine of season 1B, and when the door finally opens, it reveals an empty space where Catherine Pierce was supposed to be, and Damon Salvatore's world comes apart on camera. In this timeline, it takes 3 weeks. Lexi speeds it up, because Lexi does not fundamentally believe in letting problems age. 26 starved vampires sealed under a church in a town with 1 sheriff and a council that cannot tell a tomb vampire from a raccoon is not a problem that gets better with time. 26 starved vampires get out eventually. Lexi would rather they get out on her schedule than theirs, so she sits Stefan and Damon down in the library one afternoon. We open the tomb. We open the tomb. We control the exit. I'm there. You're there. Bonnie's there. We handle it on our terms before Anna Pearl's daughter handles it on hers. You want to help me open the tomb. I want to supervise the opening of the tomb so that 26 starving vampires don't pour out of a sealed crypt in a town of 9,000 civilians and kill my friend Stefan's girlfriends. Entire family, yes. That is what I want. Try to keep up. And Catherine? Lexi goes still for a second. She has been waiting for him to ask. Catherine's not in there, Damon. How do you... I know because I've known Katerina Petrova since 1792, and Katerina Petrova does not get herself sealed in a Virginia basement. She spent 450 years not getting caught by an original. You think she got caught by the Mystic Falls Founders Council? You don't know that. I know it, and I'm sorry. He is quiet for a long time. Stefan behind him does not say anything. Stefan has always suspected this, and has never had a way to tell his brother. In the show, this reveal is a season finale gut punch that breaks Damon in the tomb itself. In this timeline, Lexi delivers it in the library on a Tuesday afternoon, so that Damon can grieve early enough to still be useful at the tomb on Saturday. This is what Lexi does. She manages grief like inventory. I'm not opening the tomb, Damon says. Yes, you are, Lexi says. Because whether or not she's in there, there are 25 other vampires who are, and one of them is Pearl. And Pearl is the one we actually need to talk to. Why? Because Pearl is older than I am, and if I'm going to keep Mystic Falls alive through the summer, I need her on my side of the table. Bonnie Bennett, who has been told approximately 30% of this plan, opens the seal on a Saturday at 3 in the morning. Her grandmother Sheila is at her side, channeling alongside her. And here is the first divergence of the night that matters. In the show, Sheila dies holding the tomb open long enough for the Salvatores to go deep inside and rummage. In this timeline, Lexi's operational window is 7 minutes, not 40. Sheila Bennett does not have to channel power beyond what her body can carry. She stands up at the end of the spell, exhausted but upright, and she walks home to her own kitchen. And she lives. Bonnie Bennett does not lose her grandmother tonight. That matters. Remember it. The plan itself is simple. Bonnie and Sheila stand at the entrance with the Bennett grimoire. Stefan and Damon enter the tomb to confirm the 2 people they came for. Lexi stays at the mouth. Anything that runs, runs through me, she says. Nothing runs through me. Go. Inside the tomb, it is dark, it is dry, and it smells like 26 people who have not eaten in 145 years. The vampires are desiccated, paper-skinned, husked, slumped against walls like a museum exhibit that has gone wrong. Some of them open their eyes as Stefan and Damon pass. None of them move. None of them can. Not yet. Catherine is not there. Damon finds the space where she should have been. The space has a name carved into the wall and a handwriting he recognizes. KP. I was never here. She put it there in 1864 on her way out. Because Catherine Pierce has always understood the theatrical value of a farewell note. Damon stares at the wall for 15 seconds. Then he takes a breath. He turns around and he walks out. Lexi doesn't say anything to him. She doesn't need to. She nods once. A there it is nod. And Damon nods back, and something between them finalizes in that nod. He owes her for this. She delivered the grief in the library on Tuesday so he wouldn't have to deliver it in the dirt on Saturday. And now he is standing upright in front of his brother and not on his knees. And he knows she did it on purpose. He will never thank her for it. He will remember it forever. Behind them, the first of the tomb vampires starts to stir. Frederick comes out first. Frederick was a cruel man in 1864, and 145 years of starvation has not improved him. He is faster than he should be, because tomb vampires draw on reserves when they panic, and he gets past Stefan in a blur. In the show, Frederick goes on to kidnap Stefan and torture him for days in the Gilbert family cellar. He becomes one of the small villains of Season 1B, and it takes 4 episodes to dispatch him. In this timeline, Frederick gets 11 feet from the tomb entrance. Lexi Branson moves. And this is the first time in the entire script that you, as an audience, get to see what a 350-year-old vampire actually looks like in combat. The Salvatore brothers have been the visible vampires of this story for 10 episodes. You have calibrated your expectations to Salvatore speed and Salvatore strength. Stefan is 161. Damon is 171. They are fast, they are strong. They fight each other to a draw. Lexi is twice as old as either of them. She does not move like they move. She does not move like a vampire. She moves like something that has been a vampire for 350 years and has forgotten how to move any other way. She is at the entrance. Then she is behind Frederick. Then Frederick is missing his left hand. Then he is missing his right hand. Then there is a spike of wood from the old church pew in his sternum. Then Frederick is ash on the ground. 2 more tomb vampires come out behind him. A man named Billy, a woman named Bethann. They take 9 seconds between them. Lexi is not breathing hard. Vampires do not breathe hard. But she looks at Stefan across the settling dust, and she says, I hate the smell of these ones. They've been marinating. Lexi, I know. I'm a professional. Damon is standing behind his brother staring at her. He has seen her fight before. He has seen her fight Stefan playfully in the Salvatore kitchen 3 weeks ago. He has seen her handle a bar brawl in 1977, in a memory his brother sometimes lets slip over bourbon. He has never seen her do this. This was not fighting. This was disassembling. This was a woman 300 years older than he is, taking apart combat-capable vampires like she was clearing a table. Damon Salvatore understands for the first time that he tried to murder Lexi Branson in an alley with a wooden stake. The recalibration of his own mortality is immediate and permanent. Pearl comes out of the tomb last. She walks. She does not run. Anna is at her side in an instant. Anna has been waiting at a safe distance for exactly this moment. And the 3 of them, Pearl and Anna and Lexi, stand in a triangle in the clearing outside Fell's church as the sun starts to come up. Pearl looks at Lexi. You're not a Salvatore. We are going to have a conversation, Pearl. And then we are going to have a truce. And then you and Anna are going to live in a nice house on the edge of town. And you are going to drink from the hospital blood supply I have arranged. And Anna is going to enroll at Mystic Falls High School. And no one in this town is going to die. Does that sound acceptable to you? Pearl considers her for a long moment. The thing Lexi has bet on, the thing the entire Chapter 3 strategy has rested on, is that Pearl is old enough and smart enough to take a good deal when she sees one. Pearl, unlike Frederick, is not powered by 145 years of rage. Pearl has a daughter. Pearl wants a normal life for her daughter. Pearl was already planning in her head an arrangement with the Salvatore brothers that looks a lot like the one Lexi has just described. Lexi has simply arrived at the terms faster and with more leverage. I accept, Pearl says. Good. Anna starts school on Monday. Anna starts school on Monday, Pearl says. And Anna, who is 150 years old but has been her mother's daughter for every one of them, closes her mouth. Lexi walks back across the clearing to where Stefan and Damon are waiting. Damon says, "Did you just solve the tomb vampire problem in 90 seconds?" 92. Lexi says, "I had to factor Pearl. She's older than I am. You can't rush old women." Lexi, what? Damon looks at her. "I owe you." Lexi looks back at him. "Yeah, you do. I'm collecting." It is the closest thing to a moment they have ever shared. By the end of Chapter 3, the board of Mystic Falls has been cleared of every Season 1 threat, 4 episodes ahead of schedule. Frederick is Ash. Billy is Ash. The 22 remaining tomb vampires are dispersed across 3 states under Pearl's management, hunting no one, feeding on bagged blood, completely uninterested in returning to the town that put them in the ground. Anna is sitting in second period history next to Jeremy Gilbert, and for the first time in a century and a half, her mother does not have to choose between her daughter's safety and a revenge campaign. Sheila Bennett is alive. Bonnie Bennett still has a grandmother. Damon Salvatore has grieved Catherine Pierce 3 episodes early and is functional again. And Lexi Branson is sitting on the porch of the Salvatore boarding house at sunrise, drinking coffee laced with a single drop of vervain. Elena's habit. She's catching it, watching a car come up the long gravel drive. The car is rented. The man driving it is John Gilbert. He is a member of the Founders Council. He is Elena Gilbert's biological father, though she does not know it yet. He has spent the last 6 months in a warehouse outside of Grove Hill with a man named Jonathan Gilbert's old journals and a half-assembled device that hums at a frequency no human ear can detect. He is carrying that device in his briefcase, and he is driving, right now, toward a boarding house that contains 3 vampires. The 2 Salvatore brothers Mystic Falls already knows about, and one 350-year-old ghost the council still thinks is dead. Chapter 4 is the Founders' Day chapter. Chapter 4 is the one where the device comes out. And Chapter 4 is the one where Damon Salvatore looks up from the floor of a burning basement at the woman who tried to kill him once, and asks her why she just saved him. John Gilbert is not a stupid man. In the show, he is treated as a minor villain, a smug member of the Founders Council who shows up with a piece of antique vampire hunting hardware and a chip on his shoulder the size of his absent daughter. But John Gilbert has been hunting vampires, quietly and internationally, since before Elena was born. He has tracked an original across 3 continents with a briefcase full of Jonathan Gilbert's 1864 journals and a collection of augmented devices built for him by occult technicians in Nantucket. And what John Gilbert notices, within 72 hours of arriving in Mystic Falls, is that something has changed. Damon Salvatore is calmer than the reports said he would be. The body count that was supposed to climb through April has flatlined. Pearl, whom John knows about through Isabel, has gone to ground in a way that suggests a deal has been cut. And there is a smell in the Salvatore boarding house that John Gilbert cannot quite place. Old blood. Old perfume. Something like bergamot. Something that does not belong to either of the 2 Salvatore brothers he has been briefed on. There is a 3rd vampire in that house. He does not know her name yet, but he is going to. John goes through Isabel's research. Isabel, Elena's biological mother, a vampire, Catherine's protege, has been sending John notes for years. One of them, buried in a file marked Mystic Falls, Parafral, mentions a vampire Isabel logged in Mystic Falls in 1977, and again in 1994. The description matches neither Salvatore. 350 years old, blonde, female, operates with Stefan. Isabel calls her Lexi. John Gilbert reads the file. He goes very still. Then he opens his briefcase. The Gilbert device is a brass sphere the size of an orange. It hums at a frequency no human ear can detect. When activated, it sends a radius of ultrasonic pain through any vampire within 300 yards. An incapacitating scream that drops a vampire to its knees and holds it there for roughly 4 minutes. The device works on every vampire. No exceptions. Age does not matter. Strength does not matter, and John Gilbert is about to detonate it in a town that contains 3 vampires instead of 2. The parade is on a Sunday afternoon in mid-May. The weather is hot. The town is out in full. Carol Lockwood in a hat. Jenna on a picnic blanket. Caroline cheerleading on the Miss Mystic float. Stefan walking beside Elena, trying to look like he belongs in a town that 8 of his direct ancestors founded. Damon is on the town square watching the parade with a bourbon disguised as iced tea. Lexi is not there. She cannot be there. She is officially dead. The council is on every corner. She is in the east wing of the Salvatore boarding house, 3 miles out of town, reading a biography of Catherine the Great and ignoring the festivities. That is the variable John Gilbert does not have. He detonates the device from the clock tower at 3:42. In town, Stefan and Damon drop instantly. Deputies in vervain gloves swarm on the incapacitated Salvatores before anyone in the civilian crowd notices anything is wrong. 2 Forbes-trained officers drag Damon into the incinerator basement under the town hall. Another pair hauls Stefan into a separate holding cell. The device is screaming. The brothers cannot move. 3 miles away, at the boarding house, Lexi feels it. Not the sound. She is outside the radius. She feels the absence. She has been inside this boarding house for 9 weeks, living alongside 2 vampires, 2 heartbeats, 2 breathings, 2 presences in the building and the town. 3 miles of thin connection she has learned to feel in her peripheral awareness, and both of them have just gone flat at once. She puts the biography down. She does the math in 90 seconds. Device. Founders Day. John Gilbert. Radius. She is on her feet and moving before the full shape of the problem has assembled itself in her head. And here is the inferred beat the report flags. And here is where it has to play clean. The Gilbert device is calibrated to vampire hearing. It works on every vampire within 300 yards. Lexi's age does not grant her immunity. What her age grants her is pain tolerance. A 350-year-old vampire has felt every form of suffering the human imagination has produced, and she has felt most of them twice. An ultrasonic scream is to her not a novel pain. It is a pain she has a taxonomy for. She enters the radius at the edge of the town square at 3:45. The pain hits her, and she keeps running. She is crying blood. Her legs are giving out at every 3rd step. But she keeps running. She moves like a marathon runner in hour 4. Not fast, not graceful, but forward. A pedestrian sees a blonde woman crouched behind a hot dog truck, weeping blood from her ears, and does not understand what he is seeing. She compels him to go home in a whisper that costs her more than the compulsion is worth. She gets to the town hall at 3:50. She gets down the stairs to the incinerator basement at 3:52. Sheriff Forbes' 2 deputies have Damon on the floor, strapped to a chair, and they are pouring gasoline. One of them is reading a prepared statement under his breath, something about vampires and God and civic duty. The other has a lighter. Lexi kills the 2 deputies without speaking. It is quick. It is not clean. She does not have the coordination tonight. But they are dead, and they are dead with a speed that does not allow for screaming, and that is all that matters. She drags Damon off the chair and onto the floor. His face is purple. Blood is running from his eyes. He cannot see her. Damon. He does not answer. Damon. Damon, I need you to get up. I need to go get Stefan, and I can't carry both of you. I need you to get up. The first face he sees, through the blood, through the ultrasonic static, is Lexi Branson's, the woman he tried to murder in an alley 9 weeks ago. The woman he would be dead without. He whispers something she cannot hear. What? You should have let me burn. Lexi goes still for exactly 1 beat. Then she hauls him up, and she does the impossible. She carries Damon Salvatore up 1 flight of concrete stairs, past a hot dog truck, around the back of the town hall, into the Founders Day shadow, where a woman with vervain gloves might be waiting any second, and she deposits him behind a dumpster in an alley that is beginning to feel, in this script, like Lexi Branson's second home. She leaves him there, she turns around, and she goes back into the town hall for Stefan. Stefan is in the other cellar. Stefan has not been set on fire yet. That is because Sheriff Forbes is still in the stairwell deciding what to do about the Stefan problem, which, in her 18 years on the Mystic Falls payroll, is the first time she has had a captive vampire with a clean public profile and a girlfriend on the cheerleading squad. Lexi handles the sheriff without killing her. That is the detail. That is the part to pay attention to. Lexi Branson, 350 years old, walks into a stairwell full of the sheriff of Mystic Falls and does not kill the sheriff. She compels her. She wipes 4 minutes of memory. She plants a cover story about a malfunctioning device and a pair of deputies who got trapped down below. And then she picks up Stefan and she carries him out, and she sets him next to his brother behind the dumpster. Stefan is breathing. Damon is breathing. The device is stopped. Lexi sits down on the pavement between them and lets herself bleed from the ears for the first time since this started. Damon opens his eyes again a minute later. The alley is spinning. The sun is going down over the clock tower. There are sirens in the distance that are not, for once, for them. Lexi, I'm here. Why'd you save me? She looks over at him. Her face is a wreck. Her mascara is running in blood streaks. She looks tired in a way he has never seen her look. Don't ask me that now. I'm asking. I need to know. Don't say Stefan. Stefan, I get. Why me? Lexi is quiet for a long moment. Then she says, because Elena still wants you alive. Don't ask me why. That's between her and her therapist. He laughs again anyway. You're a terrible person. I'm a great person. You're just not used to it. Lexi. What? Ask me again next year. She looks over at him. She understands. I'll ask you again next year. The sun goes down over Mystic Falls. The Founders' Day parade scatters into 1,000 ordinary people going home to an ordinary evening, unaware that 3 people in their town were almost murdered an hour ago, and that one of them, the one nobody knew was alive, just rewrote the survival odds of everyone here for the next 2 seasons. John Gilbert, meanwhile, is in his rental car at the edge of town, reading the signal from the device. 2 vampire heartbeats dropped in the town hall and went dark. That tracks with Stefan and Damon. But a third signature, a strong one, an old one his device did not expect to log, flared on the edge of the radius, held for 7 minutes, and then departed toward the Salvatore boarding house. John writes one line in his notebook. 350. Female. Does not die, he puts the car in drive and leaves Mystic Falls that night. In the show, John stays through most of season 2. In this timeline, he leaves early, to find Isabel, to find Catherine, to find anyone who can tell him what the hell a 350-year-old vampire is doing in a Virginia boarding house. And he will, inside of 3 weeks, deliver that information to the one person in the world who already knows exactly who Lexi Branson is. It is almost midnight when Jenna Summers hears the knock on the Gilbert kitchen door. She is making tea. Elena is at Bonnie's. Jeremy is upstairs. The kitchen light is on. She opens the door. Stefan? The figure on the porch is wearing Stefan's jacket. It has Stefan's face. It has Stefan's hair. It is smiling at Jenna the way Stefan sometimes smiles. Slightly tired, slightly sad, slightly sideways. Hi, Jenna. Is Elena home? I have something I need to give her. Jenna opens the door wider. 3 miles away, Lexi Branson is sitting on the porch of the Salvatore boarding house, watching the stars come out. She feels something, not a sound. An absence, a presence shaped like an absence. A thing in town that has not been in town for 145 years, but which her skin remembers the way skin remembers the people who heard it once. She closes her eyes. She's here, Lexi says, to nobody, and that is where Chapter 4 ends. Katerina Petrova is 518 years old. In the show, Catherine Pierce is the primary antagonist of Season 2. A doppelganger vampire, Elena's ancestor. The woman who turned the Salvatore brothers in 1864 and ruined their lives for sport across a century and a half. She is charming, sadistic, intelligent, relentless, and crucially, older than every vampire on the show except the originals. She was turned in 1492. That makes her 170 years older than Lexi Branson. In a straight fight, Catherine wins. That is the rule you need to carry through the next 3 chapters. Catherine is older. Catherine is stronger. Catherine is faster. Catherine, if she wants to, can pin Lexi to a wall and drain her in 90 seconds. That is canon, and Lexi Branson knows it. But Catherine Pierce has never in 518 years won a straight fight by entering one. Catherine Pierce does not fight. Catherine Pierce manipulates. Catherine Pierce has been running from Klaus Mikaelson since 1492. And nobody runs from an original for 5 centuries by swinging fists. You run by arranging the furniture. You run by making other people do your dying for you. And Catherine Pierce has just arrived in Mystic Falls, wearing Elena's face. And she has just discovered that her ex-boyfriend's brother is living in the Salvatore boarding house with a 350-year-old vampire who knew her in 1792. The first meeting happens the next afternoon. Lexi walks into the Salvatore library at 2 o'clock. She is carrying a grimoire from Sheila Bennett. She is in the middle of a thought about Pearl's supply chain. She pushes the door open. Katerina Petrova is sitting in Damon's favorite chair, drinking Damon's bourbon, wearing Elena's face. She is the 4th woman in 60 days to make a home out of Damon Salvatore's chair. They look at each other. Hello, Lexi. I do. Catherine smiles. It is the smile of a woman who has been rehearsing this meeting in her head for days. You look well. 350, is it? You don't look it. I moisturize. Lexi sets the grimoire down on the table without breaking eye contact. Neither of them moves toward the other. Neither of them moves away. The air between them has the quality of a room full of dry kindling and one lit match. Catherine speaks first. Stefan has a babysitter now. You wouldn't know what that looks like. I had a friend once. You ate her, Katerina. In 1792. I was there. Catherine tilts her head. That was a reach Lexi did not need to make. It is, however, a reach that tells Catherine something she needed to know. Lexi has not forgotten. Lexi has logged 400 years of Catherine's behavior, and she is not willing to pretend otherwise, and she is willing to bring receipts into the first conversation. Catherine nods once, thoughtfully. Well, this is going to be interesting. She stands. She puts the bourbon glass down on the table. She does not break eye contact. She walks past Lexi on her way to the door, and her shoulder does not touch Lexi's shoulder, because neither of them is willing to be the one who brushes first. At the door, Catherine turns. You've been playing chess with 2-century-old children, Lexi. Welcome back to the adult table. Lexi does not move. Katerina, she says. I was playing chess when you were still a farmer's daughter in Bulgaria. Sit down. Catherine smiles. She does not sit down. She walks out of the Salvatore boarding house and into the late afternoon sunlight. And she does not come back for 6 weeks, because Catherine Pierce has just done the math. Catherine's reassessment is the load-bearing interior scene of Chapter 5. She goes to her motel room on the edge of Mystic Falls. She pours herself a glass of something stronger than the bourbon she left at the boarding house. She sits on the end of the bed with her hands on her knees, and she thinks. And what she thinks is this. I cannot go through Lexi Branson. Catherine's original plan, isolate Stefan, remove Damon, manipulate Elena, retrieve the Moonstone, deliver the whole package to Klaus, is the plan the show runs in Season 2. In this timeline, Lexi invalidates every step of it. Isolating Stefan is impossible. Lexi has known him longer than Catherine has. Manipulating Elena is impossible. Lexi has been training her for 2 months. Removing Damon through emotional warfare is impossible. Lexi has been rewiring his head for 9 weeks. Catherine needs a new vector. She needs a weapon Lexi Branson cannot see coming. She needs a weapon Lexi Branson has never, in 350 years, learned to fight. She needs a werewolf. Mason Lockwood arrives in Mystic Falls on a Tuesday. In the show, Mason arrives in Season 2, Episode 2, roughly 2 months into the Catherine timeline. He is Tyler Lockwood's uncle. A surfer, a werewolf, the keeper of the Lockwood family moonstone. He has been romantically involved with Catherine since they met in Florida the previous summer. He has no idea she is using him. In this timeline, Mason arrives early, within 2 weeks of Catherine's first meeting with Lexi, because Catherine Pierce has done the math, and the math says she needs a werewolf in Mystic Falls yesterday. Mason pulls his truck up to the Lockwood mansion on a Tuesday afternoon. His brother Richard is dead, canon preserved, and the funeral is that weekend. Carol Lockwood greets him in the driveway. Tyler hugs him, and 3 miles away at a Lockwood backyard barbecue the following Sunday, Lexi Branson smells something across 50 feet of lawn that she has not smelled in 240 years. Her face goes white. She has been in conversation with Caroline Forbes's mother about sparkling wine. She stops mid-sentence. Stefan at her side notices the change. Lexi, Stefan, we have a problem I don't know how to solve. What? They're not extinct. She is looking across the lawn at Mason Lockwood, who is shaking hands with Mayor Lockwood's replacement, laughing at a joke, a beer in his hand. And Mason Lockwood, who does not know what Lexi is, and does not know that Lexi is there, and does not know that a 350-year-old vampire can smell a werewolf the way a dog smells a coyote, laughs again at something his nephew says. Lexi does not move. She cannot move. She does not know the current science of werewolf venom. She does not know the current Lockwood family bloodline history. She does not know if this werewolf is trigger latent or full moon active. She knows only that the thing she has been told her entire undead life is a myth. The thing she has told Stefan, across 4 centuries of campfire stories, is extinct, is drinking a Corona on the lawn of the Lockwood family estate, 12 feet from Elena Gilbert. Stefan, we need to leave. Lexi spends the next 3 days in the Salvatore library with the complete Bennett family werewolf archive, a 200-year-old manuscript from New Orleans that she has had couriered overnight, and a glass of bourbon that she does not drink. She is catching up. She is 2.5 centuries behind on werewolf science, and she has 3 weeks, maybe 4, before Mason Lockwood's first full moon activates him and Catherine Pierce makes her next move. While Lexi is catching up, Caroline Forbes is dying. In the show, Caroline dies at the end of Season 2, Episode 1. Catherine smothers her with a pillow in a hospital bed, having fed her blood hours earlier. Caroline wakes up in transition. She spends the next 15 episodes learning, alone and in terror, how to be a vampire. In this timeline, Lexi has the bandwidth. But Lexi does not get there in time. Lexi Branson is 350 years old, and she is the best combat vampire in Mystic Falls, but she is not omniscient. Catherine Pierce is 170 years older, and in the 4 minutes Lexi is 3 floors down interrogating a nurse about Caroline's transfer paperwork. Catherine presses a pillow to a human girl's face and ends her life. Lexi reaches the hospital bed 10 minutes after it is done. She pulls a chair to Caroline's bedside. She waits. When Caroline opens her eyes in transition, Lexi is the first face she sees. Caroline, who? My name is Lexi, Sheriff Forbes' daughter. I need you to listen to me very carefully. Do not scream. Look at me. Caroline looks at her. You have died and you are becoming a vampire. You have exactly 24 hours to decide whether you want to stay one. If you drink what is in this bag, you complete the transition. If you don't, you will die in peace. Either choice is valid. I am going to be here for the full 24 hours no matter what you choose, and I am not going to pressure you either way. Do you understand? Caroline starts crying. Where's my mom? 3 floors down dealing with a paperwork problem I put in her way. She is fine. She does not know yet. She will know whatever you want her to know. Caroline cries for a long time. Then she drinks the blood bag. Then Lexi Branson takes her home. The Caroline training arc runs under the rest of Chapter 5 like a B-plot, because Lexi is doing 3 things at once now. She is researching werewolves. She is teaching Caroline Forbes how to not kill the janitor. She is briefing Stefan and Damon on the Mason Lockwood problem. She is also, on Tuesday afternoon of that first week, cornered in the Salvatore kitchen by Elena. Elena has a question. Lexi, I need to ask you something, and I need you to tell me the truth. Okay, Stefan was in love with Catherine for a year in 1864. I've seen the portraits. She looks exactly like me. How do I compete with that? Lexi puts her coffee cup down. Elena, sit down. You'll lose if you try. Catherine is 518 years old, and she has spent 450 of those years practicing being exactly the person the room wants her to be. She can out-charm you. She can out-flirt you. She can out-seduce Stefan and Damon and everybody in between, because she has been running a long con since before America was a country. You cannot win that fight. You just have to be you, because Catherine's whole identity is a costume. Yours isn't. She put on Elena Gilbert last week to walk into a house and drink bourbon. She had to take you off at the end of the night. You never take you off. That's why she's scared of you. That's why she pivoted to werewolves instead of facing you directly. Catherine Pierce is afraid of your face because your face is real and hers is borrowed. Do you understand? Good. Now, has your aunt ever asked you why you come home smelling like fermented bourbon? Not yet. She's going to. And when she does, you're going to tell her the truth. Lexi, you're going to tell her the truth, Elena? Because the next 8 weeks of this town are going to involve werewolves and doppelgangers and things I do not have names for yet. And Jenna Summers is too smart to keep in the dark. And I am not watching another good aunt die confused in a kitchen because her niece was trying to protect her. Another. She has said more than she meant to. She looks at the wall for a long second. Then she looks back at Elena. We'll have that conversation another day. Tell Jenna this weekend, before Sunday. Am I understood? And that is the Chekhov's gun for Chapter 8. Chapter 5 ends with a montage. Caroline learning to feed on blood bags in the Salvatore cellar, Lexi coaching her through cravings. Damon at the Mystic Grill, watching Mason Lockwood play pool with a deputy, logging times and movements. Stefan at the Gilbert house, eating lasagna with Jenna and Elena, while Jenna asks her niece a question Elena has finally been given permission to answer. Ani at Sheila's kitchen table, reading through a grimoire page about lunar magic. Lexi in the library, surrounded by open books, drinking bourbon she does not taste. Across town, Mason opens a letter from Florida. It is from Catherine. 1 sentence. The Moonstone is in Richmond. I'll be in touch. And in a rented room on the edge of town, Catherine Pierce is packing a trunk. She has a new plan. The new plan is a masquerade ball. The new plan is a set of traps Lexi Branson will not be able to escape. What Catherine does not know, what she cannot know, because she has not checked the hospital records, because she does not think Caroline Forbes matters. Is that the brand new vampire she left in a pillow-smothered bed is currently eating chocolate mousse in the Salvatore kitchen and being tutored in bloodlust control by the oldest ally Catherine has never defeated? Catherine has made an enormous miscalculation. It is going to cost her, at the masquerade ball, everything. The masquerade ball is a Lockwood family tradition going back to 1864. In the show, it is the event at which Damon, Stefan, Jeremy, Bonnie, and Caroline attempt to assassinate Catherine Pierce. Damon runs the plan. The plan falls apart almost immediately. Catherine, who has been feeding Caroline compulsion earlier in the week, uses Caroline as a weapon against the Salvatores. Bonnie attempts to subdue Catherine with a linking spell, but in the execution, Elena is linked to Catherine. So every injury they do to Catherine, they do to Elena. Catherine walks out alive. Elena is kidnapped within 24 hours. It is, as plans go, a bad plan executed at the worst possible time. In this timeline, the plan is different. Caroline is not under Catherine's control. Lexi adopted her 7 days ago. Lexi is running the plan, not Damon, because Lexi is the only person in Mystic Falls with the combat seniority to outplan Catherine Pierce. The linking spell still happens, but in a different shape, because Lexi has been planning for 6 weeks. Plan assembly, the Salvatore Library, 3 nights before the ball. Around the table, Lexi, Stefan, Damon, Bonnie, Caroline still on a blood bag drip, still committed. Jeremy, an Alaric Saltzman, who has been brought into the circle of information this week at Lexi's direct request. Lexi speaks first. Ground rules. Catherine is 170 years older than I am. If she gets to move first, we lose. If we get to move first, and we pick the ground, we win. We are picking the ground. The ground is the masquerade ball. Why the ball? Damon says. Because Catherine wants to be there. She wants the Moonstone handoff. She thinks Mason Lockwood is bringing it. She has told herself she is running the ball, which means she will show up feeling like the director of a play. Directors make mistakes that extras don't. We are the extras tonight. Stefan, how do we subdue her? Bonnie hits her with a linking spell, not Catherine's preferred linking spell. Ours. Sheila Bennett and I have been working on a 2-layer variant for 4 weeks. It links Catherine to a body we choose. That body is not Elena. It has to be me. Elena can't take it. Damon can't. He's 171. He'll still feel it too much. Stefan's the same. Caroline is a newborn. Bonnie's human. Jeremy's human with a ring. That leaves me. I'm 350. I can take a beating Catherine gives herself. She won't know the link is to me until it's too late. And if Catherine figures it out mid-fight, and I survive it, because I have survived worse, and we kill her before she wakes up. Either way, Elena is not in the equation. That is non-negotiable. Stefan looks at her for a long time. Okay, let's talk about positioning. The masquerade ball. A Saturday night in late September. The Lockwood estate is lit up with 10,000 white lights. There are 500 people in masks on the lawn. A string quartet is playing Dvorak on the east veranda. Carol Lockwood has spent $90,000 on catering. Every adult in Mystic Falls is drunk on champagne by 10:30. Catherine Pierce arrives at 10:45. She is in a black silk dress. She is wearing a Venetian mask. She is accompanied by a compelled human. She is dressed as an escort. She walks up the stone steps of the Lockwood entrance exactly the way Lexi Branson anticipated she would. Slightly too loudly, slightly too confident, with the rhythm of a woman who believes she is about to collect. Lexi is on the roof. That is the detail. That is the piece nobody has told the audience yet. Lexi Branson has been on the roof of the Lockwood mansion for 2 hours. She is wearing black. She has a mask tucked into her belt that she will never put on. She is in combat position, crouched behind the chimney stack, watching the south lawn through a sightline she and Damon mapped out on Wednesday. Catherine walks through the foyer. She scans the crowd. She clocks Stefan, who is, by design, in the center of the ballroom, dancing with Elena, acting like a boyfriend who does not know the woman across the room is plotting him. Catherine smiles. She moves. She accepts a champagne from a waiter who is Jeremy Gilbert in a rented jacket. She drinks. She crosses the room, and at 11:07, as Catherine Pierce is halfway across the Lockwood ballroom, mid-stride, mid-smile, Lexi Branson drops off the roof. Catherine never sees her coming. Lexi has been in Mystic Falls for 6 months, and in those 6 months, Lexi has never once, not once, moved at full speed in a room Catherine was in. The library conversation in Chapter 5 was deliberately slow. The 2 accidental glimpses Catherine has had of Lexi since have been deliberately slow. Lexi has been teaching Catherine Pierce for 6 months that she is a competent 350-year-old vampire who moves like a competent 350-year-old vampire. She has been lying. She has been saving her full speed for the one moment it would count most. And the one moment it counts most is this one, tonight, against Catherine, under Bonnie Bennett's linking spell. Lexi drops from the roof. She crosses the ballroom at a speed Catherine Pierce has never logged, from an angle Catherine Pierce was not watching, and she is behind Catherine before Catherine's head has finished turning toward the motion. Her hand is on Catherine's throat. Her other hand is on Catherine's wrist. Catherine tries to twist. Catherine cannot twist. Catherine is 170 years older than Lexi, but Catherine has been caught inside her own momentum, and the one thing age does not protect you from is bad positioning. Lexi drops her. Bonnie, from the balcony, throws the linking spell. A ring of soft fire ignites in a circle around Catherine's crumpled body. Catherine's eyes open, and what Catherine Pierce sees, as the spell locks, as the link from her ribcage to Lexi Branson's ribcage completes, is the face of the 350-year-old vampire crouched over her, smiling with a piece of iron-tipped wood in one hand. "Hi, Katerina. You were hiding your speed. Every day for 6 months. I didn't see it. No, you didn't." Catherine laughs. It is a real laugh. Something close to respect. "Lexi, shut up, Katerina. You're about to go to the tomb." The subdue takes 20 seconds. In the show, this fight was the emotional climax of the episode, and it spilled out of the ballroom and into the backyard, and took 14 minutes of screen time to resolve. Blueprint version, 20 seconds. Lexi has Catherine unconscious on the ballroom floor before most of the 500 guests have noticed that anyone has fallen down. The linking spell holds. Bonnie, from the balcony, confirms the lock. Stefan escorts Elena, who has been briefed and is now pretending to panic about a champagne spill, out the front door. Damon handles Mason Lockwood, who has already taken a wolfsbane-laced bourbon from a waiter who is a Alaric Saltzman in a rented jacket, and who is currently losing consciousness in a broom closet that Carol Lockwood will not open until Monday. The moonstone is retrieved from Mason's inside pocket. Bonnie places it in a lined box. Lexi carries Catherine out the servants' entrance. By midnight, the Lockwood ball is over. Carol Lockwood is thanking her guests for a lovely evening, and Katerina Petrova is in chains at the bottom of the tomb under Fell's Church, linked by spell to a vampire who she, for the first time in 518 years, did not see coming. At 3 a.m, Lexi is sitting on a rock in the tomb entrance, eating an apple. Catherine is chained against the wall. She has been conscious for 20 minutes. She has watched Lexi not speak to her, and now Catherine, who does not enjoy being watched by other women without participating in the watching, breaks the silence. "Why am I not dead? Because killing you kills Elena." "I'm linked to Elena? You're linked to me." Elena has a side chain. Bonnie's keeping it alive. Catherine absorbs this. She nods, once, the way a professional nods at an unexpected move in a game she thought she was winning. "Well done, Lexi. Thank you. I'm going to tell you something now. The only leverage I have left is information. So I am going to trade you some of it for the quality of my captivity. Are we negotiating? We're negotiating. Klaus is coming." Lexi goes still. "He has been coming for 1,000 years, Lexi. He is an original. He is the hybrid. He needs a doppelganger to break a curse that has bound him since Viking times. I have been running from him since 1492. I came to Mystic Falls because I thought I could trade Elena for my freedom. I was going to deliver her to him on a plate, doppelganger, werewolf, vampire, and then disappear for another 500 years. You've broken my plan. Congratulations. How long?" He has scouts in Virginia. He knows this town exists. Lexi is quiet for a long time. Then she says very quietly, "Thank you, Katerina. You think you beat me, Lexi? I beat you tonight. You think you beat me? I'm alive. Elena is marked. Klaus is coming. I just wanted a front row seat." Lexi takes a bite of her apple. "Enjoy the view." Elena, meanwhile, has done something in this timeline she did not do in canon. She has told Jenna the truth. 3 Sunday mornings ago, at the Gilbert kitchen table, Elena sat her aunt down and told her everything. Stefan is a vampire. Damon is a vampire. There's a woman named Lexi living secretly at the Salvatore house who is 350 years old. There is a werewolf in the Lockwood family. There is a woman named Catherine Pierce who looks exactly like Elena and who wants to kill everyone they love. Jenna did not believe it. Then Stefan, at Elena's invitation, came into the kitchen and demonstrated. Jenna stared at him for a long time. She drank 3 cups of coffee without speaking. She put her head down on the table. She raised it. She said, "Okay, I need 4 days." On the 4th day, she came back to the kitchen and said, "I'm in. Tell me what I need to do." That is where Jenna Sommers is tonight, at the kitchen table with a journal, learning about compulsion and vervain and the Gilbert family's entire 3-generation conspiracy of secrets. She is shaken. She is angry. She is grieving Miranda and Grayson all over again for different reasons. But she is alive, she is aware, and she is training with Alaric Saltzman on steak form. And 3 weeks from now, when Klaus Mikhaelsen takes her from the Gilbert kitchen, Jenna is not going to die confused. That is the gun the chapter sets. Chapter 6 ends with Lexi back at the boarding house at dawn. She is sitting on the porch. She has been there for an hour. The sun is coming up. She has a glass of bourbon in her hand. Stefan is beside her. "We beat her," Stefan says. "We beat her tonight, Lexi. Stefan, listen. I have, in 350 years, faced almost everything that walks the earth. I have fought vampires older than me. I have killed people who deserved killing. I have been stabbed, set on fire, run through, drowned, buried. I have survived things I don't talk about. Do you know what I have not done? What? Fought an original. Ever. Not once. I have stayed out of their way my entire existence. And one of them is coming. 2 months. Maybe less." Stefan is quiet. "Can we beat him?" he says. Lexi looks at him. "I don't know. I have no idea. I am telling you, I do not know, Stefan. That is the first time in a century and a half I have had to say that to you. And I need you to hear it. And I need you to not tell Elena. And I need you to start preparing for the possibility that 350 years of me is not enough to stop what's coming." Stefan nods. And that is where Chapter 6 ends, with Lexi Branson, the woman who has been the heavy in every fight of this story, admitting for the first time to the person who has known her longest that she is out of her depth. The originals are coming. Elijah is already on a plane. Klaus is already in Virginia. And in Chapter 7, Lexi Branson is going to do something she has never, in 350 years, done on camera. She is going to cry. Elijah Mikhaelsen meets Lexi Branson on a Tuesday afternoon in a diner 30 miles outside Mystic Falls. She does not know he is coming. She is there to meet Alaric Saltzman about steak techniques, and Alaric is running 20 minutes late. Lexi is drinking coffee. She is reading a newspaper. She has her back to the door, and then a man in a $1,000 suit sits down across from her, Alexia Branson. She looks up. The man is handsome in a way that costs money to maintain. Dark hair, sharp jawline, a face that has not aged in 1,000 years. He smells like sandalwood and something older, something Lexi has not smelled in 200 years. She knows what he is before he speaks again. "My name is Elijah. I know who you are. Then you know why I'm here." He does not drink it. "My brother is coming to Mystic Falls. You know this. Catherine told you in a tomb. My brother needs a doppelganger, a vampire, and a werewolf to break a curse. You are standing between him and that doppelganger. I am here to offer you a way out. A way out. Betray the Salvatores. Give me Elena Gilbert's location on the night of the ritual. Walk away. You will have my word, the word of an original, that you and Stefan Salvatore will be permitted to leave Mystic Falls unharmed." Lexi looks at him for a long time. "No. I made a promise to a 17-year-old girl that I would keep her alive. I'm not breaking that promise for you. I'm not breaking it for your brother. I'm not breaking it for anyone." Then he smiles, something close to respect. "You were in Paris in 1687, the Salon on Rue de Rivoli. You debated Descartes with a philosophy student who turned out to be Rebecca in a wig." Lexi blinks. "You remember that? My sister does not shut up about it. She said you were the only person in 3 centuries who made her laugh during an argument about the mind-body problem. She wanted to turn you. I told her not to. You were already interesting. Why are you telling me this? Because you have just refused an offer that 99% of vampires would take. And I wanted you to know that I respect that refusal. And that when my brother comes, and he will come, Lexi, in 3 weeks, you have one thin thread to an original who will remember that you were honorable when it mattered. He leaves a $50 bill for a $7 tea. Good luck, Alexia. Don't call me that. He smiles. And then he is gone. Lexi sits in the booth for another 10 minutes. Her coffee goes cold. Alaric arrives. He asks her if she is all right. She does not answer for a long time. Then she says, "We need to talk to Rose." Rose arrives in Mystic Falls 3 days later. In the show, Rose is a minor character, a vampire in her 500s, running from Klaus. She is bitten by a werewolf named Jules in Season 2. She dies in Damon's arms. In this timeline, Rose does not die in Damon's arms. She dies in Lexi's. Rose arrives at the Salvatore boarding house on a Friday. She is already sick. The werewolf bite on her shoulder is black at the edges. She is hallucinating. She tells Lexi and Stefan and Damon everything she knows about Klaus. The ritual, the doppelganger, the moonstone, the originals. She tells them about the curse. She tells them that Klaus is older than Rome, stronger than anything they have ever faced, and that he is already in Virginia. She tells them that there is no winning this fight. Then she asks Lexi to kill her. Lexi does. It is clean. It is fast. Lexi has done this dozens of times. You wait until they are close enough to the edge that the mind is already gone. You make it look like sleep. Rose dies on a couch in the Salvatore library with her head on a pillow Lexi has brought from upstairs. Damon watches from the doorway. After it is done, Lexi sits on the floor beside the couch for a long time. Damon finally speaks. How many times? What? You said you've done this dozens of times. How many? Lexi looks up at him. 41. Rose is 41. She stands. She walks upstairs. She closes the door to the east wing. And then, for the first time in this entire script, Lexi Branson cries. The panic attack happens in the dark. Stefan finds her an hour later. She is sitting on the floor of the East Wing bedroom with her back against the wall. Her face is wet. Her hands are shaking. Stefan sits down next to her. He waits. Lexi finally speaks. I can't beat him, Stefan. I have fought everything that walks the earth. I have killed vampires twice my age. I have survived plagues and wars and witch hunts. I have dragged you off piles of bodies in 4 countries. I have never, not once, Stefan, not in 350 years, told you that I did not know how to win. I don't know how to win this one. She looks at him. I don't know how to win this one. Stefan is quiet. What do? We run, you and Elena. Tonight. I have a cabin in Norway. It's off every map. Klaus will not find you there. You take Elena. You take Jeremy. You disappear for 10 years. What about you? I stay. I buy you time. No, we're not doing that. We're not leaving you here to die so we can hide in Norway. Elena won't do it. I won't do it. Damon sure as hell won't do it. Damon will burn this town down if you stay here alone. He owes you. We're not running. Lexi closes her eyes. Then we're going to lose. The next 2 weeks are a countdown. Lexi becomes a drill sergeant. She trains Elena every morning at 6. Stakes coated in vervain, escape routes, signal phrases, how to run in heels, how to break a wrist hold, how to use a compact mirror to check for vampires behind her. The difference between a vampire who wants to kill you and a vampire who wants to use you, because Klaus will want to use Elena, and that gives Elena exactly 4 seconds of leverage if she is smart enough to take it. She trains Caroline on blood control. Caroline is still new. Lexi sits with her through 3 separate blood spiral episodes and talks her down from each one. She trains Jeremy on stake form. Jeremy is human. Jeremy cannot be compelled. That makes him, in Lexi's assessment, the second most dangerous person in Mystic Falls after Bonnie Bennett. She trains Bonnie on lunar magic. Bonnie and Sheila work on spells to amplify the full moon's effect on werewolves. If Klaus is a hybrid, Lexi reasons, then Klaus has a werewolf component. A werewolf component has a moon weakness. Bonnie spends 72 hours in the Bennett Grimoire looking for a spell that will force a hybrid into a premature transformation. She does not find one, but she finds something close. And Lexi sits with Stefan every night on the boarding house porch, and she tells him what is about to happen. Klaus is going to take Elena. That is not preventable. The ritual requires a doppelganger, a vampire, and a werewolf. He is going to take her to a secondary location. probably the old quarry, possibly the woods near Fell's Church. He is going to kill her as part of the ritual. She will come back because John Gilbert is about to do something extraordinarily stupid and extraordinarily brave, but Klaus does not know that yet. And we're going to stop him. There's a difference. Stefan looks at her. Lexi, do you think we make it out of this? Lexi is quiet for a very long time. I think you do. I think Elena does. I think Bonnie and Caroline and Jeremy do. I don't know about me. I don't know about Damon. And I don't know about Jenna. Jenna, he turned her, and then he killed her in front of Elena. I have been trying to engineer a way around that for 2 weeks. I cannot find one. Catherine is in the tomb. Caroline is too young. The spell won't work with a vampire under 6 months old. That leaves Jenna. We tell her. We warn her. Jenna Summers is walking into the next 3 days with her eyes open, and that is better than walking in blind. But it does not save her. The final thing Lexi does in the 72 hours before the ritual is write a letter. She writes it on Salvatore boarding house stationery at 2 a.m. by candlelight. She writes it to Elena. She does not tell Stefan what is in it. She seals it in an envelope and she gives it to Elena on the morning of the ritual with one instruction. Do not open this unless I do not come back. Elena takes the letter. She does not open it. She puts it in her jacket pocket. And that night, Klaus Mikaelson comes to Mystic Falls. Catherine, in the tomb, tells him about Lexi. She does it out of spite. She tells Klaus that there is a 350-year-old vampire in the Salvatore boarding house who has been protecting Elena Gilbert for 6 months. She tells him that Lexi is older than the Salvatores, stronger than the Salvatores, and that if Klaus wants the doppelganger, he will have to go through Lexi first. Klaus finds this information very interesting, and so Klaus Mikaelson arrives in Mystic Falls already knowing Lexi's name. This will matter in Chapter 9, but first, it matters in Chapter 8, because Klaus is about to meet Lexi Branson for the first time, and it is going to be the worst 90 seconds of her entire existence. The ritual happens on a Thursday night at the old quarry outside Mystic Falls. In the show, this is the Season 2 finale. Jenna Summers is turned into a vampire against her will and then killed in a ring of fire as part of Klaus's sacrifice. Jules, the werewolf, is killed. Elena is killed and then resurrected by John Gilbert's ring sacrifice. Stefan makes a desperate deal with Klaus to save Damon from a werewolf bite. The episode ends with Klaus leaving town with Stefan. In this timeline, most of those beats are preserved, but the beating Lexi takes is new. The ritual eve is a Wednesday. Lexi sits with Elena in the Gilbert kitchen. Jenna is upstairs. Jeremy is at Bonnie's. The house is quiet. Lexi says Elena looks at the envelope. Lexi, you're coming back. I don't know that. I know that. You've survived 350 years. You're not dying in a quarry in Virginia. Lexi smiles. It is a tired smile. I love your confidence. Keep it in your pocket anyway. Elena takes the letter. She does not read it. She puts it in her jacket. Across the kitchen, Damon is leaning in the doorway. He has been there for 5 minutes. Neither of them noticed. He and Lexi share a look. It is a long look. It is the kind of look 2 people share when they have spent 6 months living in the same house, hating each other, saving each other, and arriving at something that is not friendship but is close enough to matter. Damon nods once. Lexi nods back. And that is their goodbye. The capture happens at dusk on Thursday. Klaus takes Elena from the Gilbert house while Jenna is in the shower and Jeremy is at the grill. He does it quietly. Elena does not scream. She has been trained not to scream. Klaus takes Jenna an hour later. He appears in her bedroom. He tells her what is about to happen. He offers her a choice. Come quietly or be dragged. Jenna, who has known the truth for 9 weeks, who has been trained by Alaric, chooses to come quietly. She asks for 5 minutes to write a note to Jeremy. Klaus allows it. The note says, I love you. This is not your fault. Take care of your sister. And then Klaus takes her to the quarry. Jules, the werewolf from Season 2, is already there, chained inside a ring of fire. The moonstone is on an altar. Greta Martin, Klaus's compelled witch, is chanting. The ritual is beginning. Elena is in a second ring of fire, 30 feet from Jules. Jenna is in a third ring, newly turned, terrified, looking at Elena across the flames. And Lexi Branson is crouched on a ridge 200 yards away, watching through binoculars, waiting for the one moment she can move. The attack happens at the exact wrong time. Lexi cannot wait. Greta is chanting, Jules is about to die, and Jenna is next. Lexi has 90 seconds. She moves. She crosses 200 yards in 4 seconds. She hits Klaus from the side. Full body tackle, 350 years of momentum. It does not work on Klaus. Klaus catches her midair. For one beat, it looks like she might hurt him. She has a stake in her hand, white oak ash coated in vervain. She drives it into Klaus's ribs. He bleeds. Klaus staggers back 1 step. And then Klaus smiles. "You must be Lexi. Stefan talks about you. Oh, we're going to have fun." He pulls the stake out of his own ribs and throws it into the woods. He grabs her by the throat. What happens next is not a fight. It is a lesson. Klaus breaks her left arm in 2 places. He throws her 60 feet into a boulder. The boulder cracks. Lexi's spine cracks. She tries to stand. She cannot stand. Klaus is on top of her before she can heal. He pins her at the neck. 350 years. Do you know what I've done in 1,000? I've watched your kind of vampire grow old and think it makes them somebody. It doesn't. Take notes, love. There's a very long lesson coming. He carries her, broken, bleeding, conscious, to the old Fell family crypt at the edge of the quarry. He throws her inside. He takes an iron spike from Greta's altar and drives it through Lexi's shoulder, pinning her to the stone wall like an insect in a collection. Lexi screams. Klaus leans in close. "You stay here." You heal slowly. You watch the ritual through that window. And when I'm done, I'll come back and we'll have a proper chat about what happens to vampires who put their hands on me. He walks out. He locks the door. And Lexi Branson, 350 years old, the strongest vampire in Mystic Falls, the woman who has never lost a fight, hangs on a stone wall with an iron spike through her shoulder and watches through a 6-inch window as Klaus runs his ritual. Jules dies first. Her heart is carved out by Greta Martin in a sequence that is as fast as it is brutal. The werewolf part of the curse breaks. Klaus feels it break. He laughs. Jenna dies second. She is staked in the heart by Greta while Elena screams. Jenna does not scream. Jenna looks at Elena one last time and says, "I love you," and then the stake goes in and Jenna Summers is gone. The vampire part of the curse breaks. Elena is third. Klaus feeds her his blood. He waits 30 seconds for it to circulate, and then he snaps her neck. In the show, this is where John Gilbert's ring sacrifice happens. John activates the Gilbert ring and links it to Elena through a spell Bonnie has prepared. Elena dies. The ring's magic transfers to her. Elena comes back. John Gilbert dies instead. In this timeline, that beat is preserved. John dies. Elena wakes up 30 seconds later. The doppelganger's blood is in his system. The curse breaks. Klaus Mikhaelsen becomes a hybrid. Lexi watches all of it through the window. She is healing. The spike is still through her shoulder, but her spine is knitting back together and her ribs are refusing, and in another 10 minutes she will be able to pull the spike free and break the crypt door. But 10 minutes is too long. Jenna is already dead. Elena is already awake. John is already gone. And then, across the quarry, Lexi hears a sound she recognizes. Damon Salvatore is screaming. Damon has been bitten by Tyler Lockwood in the chaos of the ritual. Tyler, newly turned werewolf, has been compelled by Klaus to attack the Salvatore brothers while Klaus runs the ritual. Tyler bites Damon in the cellar under the old Lockwood estate. The werewolf venom enters Damon's bloodstream. Damon has 12 hours to live. This is canon. This beat happens in the show. Stefan trades his freedom to Klaus for the cure. Klaus's hybrid blood, the only thing that can save a vampire from a werewolf bite. In this timeline, that deal is about to happen. But Lexi is going to change the terms. She pulls the spike free at midnight. Her shoulder is still bleeding, but she can move. She breaks the crypt door with a kick. She stumbles out into the quarry. The ritual is over. Klaus is gone. Greta is gone. The bodies are still in the rings of fire. Stefan is kneeling beside John Gilbert's corpse. Elena is sitting in the dirt, crying. Bonnie is trying to do something with Jenna's body. Lexi crosses the clearing. She puts a hand on Stefan's shoulder. "Where's Damon?" Stefan looks up at her. His face is gray. Boarding house. Dying, Tyler bit him. "I'm going to find Klaus. I'm going to make the deal." "You're not going alone, and you're not making the deal Klaus wants. We're making a different deal. Come on." The chapter ends with Lexi standing in the middle of the quarry, bleeding from her shoulder, looking at the wreckage of the ritual. Jenna is dead. John is dead. Damon is dying. Klaus has won, And Lexi Branson, for the first time in 350 years, has been beaten. She looks at Stefan. "Let's go save your brother," she says. And Stefan, who has just watched Lexi take the worst beating of her life, nods. Because that is what they do. They save each other, even when it costs everything. Stefan tracks Klaus to a motel outside Mystic Falls. It is not a nice motel. It is the kind of place you rent when you want to disappear for a night. Klaus is in room 12. The light is on. Stefan can hear him on the phone through the door. Stefan knocks. Klaus opens the door. He is smiling. "Stefan Salvatore, I was wondering when you'd show up. Come in. Let's talk about your brother." Stefan walks in. Klaus is pouring himself a bourbon. He offers one to Stefan. Stefan takes it. He does not drink it. "You know why I'm here." "I do. Your brother is dying. Werewolf bite. You want the cure, and you're willing to trade yourself for it. Your freedom, your sobriety, your ripper, all of it. You'll be my traveling companion for as long as I want you. You'll hunt werewolves for my hybrid army. You'll do what I tell you, when I tell you, and you will not complain. In exchange, I give Damon the cure and I leave Mystic Falls alone for 1 year. Does that sound about right?" "I accept." Klaus picks up a vial of blood from the table. It is his blood. Hybrid blood. The only cure in the world for a werewolf bite. He holds it out, and before Stefan can take it, before Klaus can hand it over, the motel door opens again. Lexi Branson walks in. Klaus looks at her. She is still bleeding from the shoulder. She has not bothered to clean the blood off her jacket. She has a piece of white oak ash in her hand, but she is not holding it like a weapon. She is holding it like a negotiating chip. "Lexi, you healed faster than I thought. I'm impressed. I'm old. We do that. You're not invited to this conversation. I'm inviting myself." "Stefan, don't say anything." Stefan closes his mouth. Lexi looks at Klaus. "Here's what's going to happen. You're not getting just Stefan. You're getting me too. 2-for-1 deal. Stefan gives you the Ripper. I give you a 350-year-old hunter who has killed more werewolves than you've met. We both travel with you. We both hunt for your hybrid army. We both do what you tell us, when you tell us. In exchange, you give Damon the cure, and you leave Mystic Falls alone for 1 full year. No returns, no spies, no compelled humans from this town. Clean slate." Klaus is quiet for a long moment. Then he laughs. "You want to trade your freedom for Damon Salvatore's life? I want to trade my freedom for Stefan's humanity. Damon is the price of entry. This is about Stefan. Why would I take you? I already have Stefan. Because I'm useful. I've been hunting since before you broke your curse. I know tracking. I know kills. I know how to clean a crime scene in 4 minutes. Stefan's a ripper, but he's a messy ripper. I'm not. You want an army, Klaus. Armies need logistics. I'm logistics." Lexi can see him thinking. He is thinking that a 350-year-old vampire traveling companion is more interesting than just a ripper. He is thinking that Lexi Branson is sharp-tongued and unimpressed by him, which is rare, which is novel, which feeds his "we are legends" self-narrative in a way Stefan's brooding never will. He is thinking that breaking her would be more satisfying than breaking Stefan. He is thinking that 2 vampires loyal to him is better than 1. He is also thinking that Lexi will be useful. That part is true. "All right," Klaus says. "Deal. You both come with me, 1 year off for Mystic Falls. I leave Damon the cure. And Lexi, Rule 1, you don't touch my hybrids. Rule 2, you don't run. If you run, I kill Stefan. Are we clear? Crystal." Klaus smiles. "Oh, we are going to get along terribly." The goodbye scene is the emotional peak of the script. Lexi and Stefan drive back to Mystic Falls at dawn. Damon is on the library couch, gray-skinned, delirious, 12 hours from death. Stefan administers the cure, Klaus's blood delivered in a vial. Damon drinks. The venom stops. The color comes back to his face. Damon opens his eyes. The first face he sees is Lexi's. "You're still here," he says. "I'm still here. You should have let me die." He is crying. Why? Because Elena still wants you alive, and because I owe you one from the basement, and because I don't let Salvatore's die on my watch. Go to sleep, Damon. You'll feel better in 4 hours. Damon goes to sleep. Lexi stands. She looks at Stefan. "I'm saying goodbye to Elena." Then we leave. Elena is in the boarding house library. She has been there since they got back. She is sitting on the couch. Her face is blank. She has cried everything out. Lexi sits down beside her. Elena, Stefan will come back. I'm making sure of it. When he does, he won't be the same. Love him through it anyway. That's the only thing that's ever worked. Lexi, don't go. I have to. There is no other way. Klaus gets what he wants. Or Klaus burns this town to the ground and takes Stefan anyway. This is the version where Damon lives and you get a year to prepare. Take it. Elena cries into her shoulder. Lexi does not cry. You're going to be okay. You're going to finish high school. You're going to have a life. And when Stefan comes back, you're going to have that life with him. But you have to survive the next year first. Can you do that for me? Elena nods into her shoulder. Good girl. One more thing. The letter I gave you. If I come back, burn it. If I don't come back, read it. Either way, don't open it until you know. She finds Damon in the hallway. He is leaning against the wall, still weak, still pale, watching her. Lexi. Damon. He does not speak for a long time. Then he steps forward. He hugs her. It is awkward. It is reluctant. It is real. Don't waste it, she whispers into his ear. I won't. She pulls back. Take care of her. I will. Klaus is waiting in the driveway with an SUV. Stefan is already in the back seat. He has packed a bag. He has said goodbye to Elena in private. He looks like a man going to his own execution. Lexi climbs into the front seat. She puts her feet on the dash. She opens Klaus's glove compartment and pulls out a CD case. Classical, she says. Of course it's classical. You're 1,000 years old and you listen to Vivaldi. We're fixing this CD out of her jacket. Bon Jovi. The same CD she played at her birthday party in Chapter 1. She puts it in the stereo. Klaus looks at her. You're joking. I'm not joking. Rule 3, Klaus. I pick the music sometimes. Klaus starts the car. He is smiling. He is actually smiling. Oh, we are going to get along terribly. The SUV pulls out of the Salvatore driveway. And the last thing Elena sees from the boarding house window is Lexi Branson with her feet on the dashboard, riding shotgun in an Originals car, heading out of Mystic Falls toward a future none of them can see. The final scene in Mystic Falls is Elena at the grill. She is alone. Bonnie is at home with her grandmother. Caroline is at home with her mother. Jeremy is at the Gilbert house with Alaric, trying to process Jenna's death. Elena is sitting at a table with a soda she is not drinking. She does not open it. She holds it in her hands for a long time, and then she puts it back in her pocket. She will not open it for 3 months, and when she does, what she reads will be the thing that saves Stefan's humanity. But that is Chapter 10. 3 months on the road, Tennessee, Chicago, Tampa, Memphis, Little Rock, New Orleans. Klaus is building his hybrid army. He is hunting werewolves across the southern United States. He is turning them one by one with Elena's doppelganger blood. Stefan is with him. Stefan is drinking human blood. Stefan is the Ripper Klaus wanted. But Stefan is not the Ripper of the show. In the show, Stefan in Season 3 is a monster. He is stacking bodies in warehouses. He is decapitating families. He is so far gone that when Damon and Elena retrieve him, they spend the next 6 episodes dragging him back. In this timeline, Stefan is dialed to a 4 out of 10. He feeds. He kills. He does what Klaus tells him. But he does not stack the bodies. He buries the dead. He cleans the scenes. He drinks enough to stay functional and not enough to lose himself. And the reason Stefan is still at a 4 is sitting in the front seat of Klaus's SUV picking the music. Lexi Branson is keeping him human. The montage is 3 months compressed into 90 seconds. A motel in Tennessee. Stefan covered in blood. Lexi hands him a towel. You didn't take the second girl. Klaus buying drinks for hybrid bait. Lexi at a pool table with Stefan, teaching him a con game from 1924. Stefan smiles for the first time in 6 weeks. A warehouse in Tampa. Klaus's 30th hybrid screaming. Lexi in the corner with Stefan. Eyes on me, not on him. Breathe. How's Elena? Stefan says. Lexi does not answer. Stefan understands. A cemetery in Little Rock. Stefan shaking after feeding. Lexi on a headstone beside him. You're at a 4. You've been at a 4 for 90 days. That's the longest you've ever held a 4. New Orleans, French Quarter. Klaus visiting an old flame. Lexi and Stefan walking Bourbon Street at 2 a.m. Do you think we'll ever go home? Stefan says. I'm making sure of it. And through all of it, Lexi is feeding intelligence back to Mystic Falls. The communication line is the script's payoff twist. Lexi has been dropping coded messages in hotel rooms across the southern United States. Dead drops. Payphone calls to a number Damon Salvatore checks every 72 hours. Postcards mailed to a P.O. box in Richmond that Bonnie Bennett empties once a week. The messages are simple. Klaus's location, Klaus's hybrid count, Klaus's next target city, the names of the werewolf packs he is hunting, the weaknesses Lexi has observed, the times Klaus is distracted, the moments Stefan is still himself. Damon, back in Mystic Falls, has been running counter-operations. He has been tracking Klaus's movements on a map in the Salvatore library. He has been coordinating with Bonnie on spells to disrupt hybrid sire bonds. He has been working with Alaric on a white oak stake variant that might hurt an original if they can ever get close enough to use it. He has been preparing, for 3 months, the slow-motion rescue operation that will bring Stefan home. Lexi has been orchestrating it from inside Klaus's entourage. And Klaus has no idea. The Chicago stopover is the emotional center of Chapter 10. Klaus takes Stefan to the old speakeasy from the 1920s, the same location where Stefan was a ripper 90 years ago. Klaus wants to remind Stefan of who he used to be. He wants to push Stefan deeper into the blood. He wants the ripper at a 10. Lexi will not let him. She and Stefan walk through the old speakeasy alone. Klaus is outside on the phone with Rebecca. "You remember this place," Lexi says. "I remember. You killed 16 people here in one night, June 1924. Stefan closes his eyes. "I know. I'm not bringing it up to hurt you. I'm bringing it up because Klaus is trying to make you think that this is who you are. That the Ripper is the default, and the humanity is the mask. And I need you to hear me when I tell you that is backward. The humanity is the default. The Ripper is the mask. You have been you for 90% of 161 years. You have been the Ripper for 10%. 10% does not define you." Stefan opens his eyes. "I don't feel like me anymore." "I know, but you're still in there, and I'm going to keep you in there until we can get you out of this. Do you trust me?" "Yes." "Then trust me when I say you are not him. You are not the Ripper. You are Stefan Salvatore. You are Elena Gilbert's boyfriend. You are Damon's brother. You are my friend, and you are going to survive this." Stefan does not speak. He nods, and that is the moment that saves him. The Klaus reversal happens in New Orleans. Klaus and Lexi are on a balcony in the French Quarter. Stefan is asleep inside. It is 4 a.m. Klaus has a bourbon. Lexi has a bourbon. Not because he trusts Lexi, but because Klaus is lonely, and Lexi is the only person in 300 miles who does not flinch when he speaks. And loneliness makes even a 1,000-year-old vampire do stupid things. "Do you know why I haven't killed you yet, love? Because you're lonely, you're bored, and I'm the only person in 300 miles who doesn't flinch. Pass the bourbon." Klaus laughs. He passes the bourbon. "You're sharper than Stefan. Stefan's a Ripper. Rippers aren't sharp. They're hungry, and you're not hungry. I'm 350 years old. I stopped being hungry in 1723. Klaus is quiet. Then he says something he has not said to anyone in 200 years. "I had a family once. Before I was a hybrid, before I was an original. We were human. We were happy. And then my parents turned us into this. And I spent 1,000 years trying to break a curse they put on me out of fear. And now that I've broken it, I don't know what I'm supposed to do." Lexi looks at him. She does not comfort him. She does not tell him it will be okay. She just says, "You figure out what you want, and then you go get it." Klaus looks at her. "What if what I want is impossible?" He smiles. It is a real smile. Lexi understands in that moment that Klaus Mikkelsen is not just lonely. He is lost. He has spent 1,000 years running toward a goal, and now that he has reached it, he does not know what the next goal is. This understanding will not save Klaus. It will not redeem him. It will not make him good. But it will, 2 years from now, be the thing that allows Caroline Forbes to see him as something other than a monster. And Lexi plants that seed tonight. "There's a blonde vampire back in Mystic Falls," Klaus says. "Caroline. Do you know her?" "I do." "I can't stop thinking about her." Lexi is very careful with her next sentence. "Caroline doesn't scare easy. If you want her, you won't get her by force. You get her by becoming someone worth knowing." Klaus is quiet. Then he says, "Thank you, Lexi." And that is the first time Klaus Mikkelsen has thanked anyone in 300 years. The communication line reveal happens on a Tuesday. Damon calls the payphone drop number at 2 in the afternoon. Lexi answers from a gas station outside Baton Rouge. Damon. Status: 68 hybrids. Klaus is slowing down. The doppelganger blood is running out. He has maybe 5 more transformations left. After that, he'll need to rethink his strategy. And Stefan's at a 4. He's been at a 4 for 90 days. I can hold him there another 90 if I have to. But Damon, you need to be ready to move when I call you. Klaus is going to pivot soon. I don't know to what. When he does, we'll have a window. Maybe 72 hours. You need to have the extraction plan ready. I have it ready. Good. How's Elena? Damon is quiet for a long time. She misses him. She's holding it together, but she misses him. Tell her I'm bringing him home. I will. And Damon, what? Don't waste it. He hangs up. Lexi stands at the payphone for another minute. Then she gets back in the SUV. Klaus is driving. Stefan is asleep in the back. They pull onto the highway, and Lexi Branson, 350 years old, riding shotgun in an Originals car, is running a counter-operation from inside the enemy camp that will in 60 days bring Stefan Salvatore home. She has been orchestrating a rescue for 3 months, and Klaus still does not know. The closer is Elena's voice. 3 months after the ritual, late September, the leaves are turning. The Mystic Falls Founders Day Planning Committee is meeting at the Grill. Caroline is student council president. Bonnie is helping her grandmother organize the Bennett family reunion. Jeremy is in therapy with a counselor who does not know about vampires but is helping him process Jenna's death. Anyway, Alaric is teaching history at the high school. Damon is in the library staring at a map of the southern United States, waiting for the phone to ring. And Elena is sitting on her bed in the Gilbert house holding the letter Lexi gave her 3 months ago. She opens it. The letter is 2 pages, Lexi's handwriting. Clean, slanted, the handwriting of someone who learned to write with a quill pen in the 1600s. Elena's voice reads it in voiceover as the camera moves through Mystic Falls. Elena, if you are reading this, I did not come back. The epic love isn't the one that doesn't hurt. It's the one that survives everything. It's the one that breaks you, and you put the pieces back together anyway. Stefan loves you. That love is going to survive whatever Klaus does to him on the road, but it will only survive if you let it. So here is what you do. You live your life. You finish high school. You go to college. You do not put your life on hold waiting for him. You do not sacrifice yourself to save him. And when he comes home, and he will, Elena, I am making sure of it. You love him through whatever he has become. You do not flinch. You do not run. You love him. That is the only thing that has ever worked. You are stronger than you think. You are braver than you know. And you are going to survive this. I love you. Take care of my boys. Lexi. The camera ends on Lexi. She is on a motel balcony in Baton Rouge, watching the sun come up over Louisiana. Stefan is asleep inside the room. Klaus's SUV is in the parking lot. Lexi has a phone to her ear. She is calling Damon's drop line. Damon, he's still in there. We're bringing him home. She watches the sun for another minute, and then she goes back inside. The screen fades to black.